Who's going to make the next big mistake? Are these the important questions? Are there issues that are being completely ignored in these debates? Trends forecaster Gerald Celente, unrivaled when it comes to predicting a lot of major events and predicting them correctly. We're going to ask him who lost in November. Gerald, good morning.
Good morning, Tommy.
Who's going to lose, I meant, in November? What do you expect to happen?
The American people are going to lose no matter who wins. It's a two-headed, one-party system. And as we do our research and keep asking people who they're voting for and why, it comes down to they're voting for a lesser of two evils. And so whenever you deal with evil, lesser or greater, the result is evil, and you're just going to get more of the same. And when you listen and you really go through their campaign platforms, there's not much difference between them at all.
A year ago, you predicted Obama would defeat any Republican challenger. Have you revised that decision?
We did, and we based that forecast, and it's on our website, TrendsResearch.com, TrendsJournal.com. We had based it all upon performance. It's the presidential reality show, and Obama's a better performer. We had no idea he would bomb so bad in Denver on October 3rd. Actually, ironically, we made the forecast on October 3rd, 2011, and he bombed on October 3rd, 2012. So this is just the presidential reality show. Politics is show business for ugly people. Any American that could call themselves proud after watching these two last debates should be ashamed of themselves. It's a contest between an empty suit and a stuffed shirt. So whoever performs best on the final round of the debates, they're not really debates, they're two little boys going at it with each other, is probably going to move closer toward winning on November in November.
As you're watching the debates, what did you make of Obama when he said that he promised clean coal?
Oh, isn't that wonderful? That's like being almost pregnant. And I love it. You know, I have a line, excuse me, conservatives believe liberals lie. Conservatives believe this stuff in the States. We got to kill them all over there so they don't come over here. They actually believe that nonsense. Liberals, however, you could show them every one of Obama's backtracks, and they'll make excuses for them. As you mentioned, Obama bragged about clean coal. He already gave away, check it out, 700 million, that's right, 700 million acres of public land for fracking. But he doesn't call it fracking. He calls it natural gas. Oh, yeah, it just came naturally, you know? Yeah, right up on the stage. And then they're fighting between them who's going to open up more. And then Obama has also opened up pristine land up near the Arctic for drilling as well. So there's really no difference between them. And this is really important, Tommy. If you look at all the press coverage from the last debate, they had, Obama came out swinging. They were biting comments. Did anybody write about what visionaries these men are? What brilliant concepts they had? How it was going to be a difficult contest, choosing between the most erudite and intelligent of the two? No.
Okay, what about what we heard the White House, that leaked report saying in the New York Times that the White House is going to have one-on-one negotiations with Iran, and then the White House denying it? Who do you believe?
I don't believe any of it. How about those weapons of mass destruction over there, right? And ties to Al Qaeda that Saddam Hussein has. How about Obama winning the Nobel Peace Prize, bombs away over Libya? How about the Gulf of Tonkin incident that never happened? Why would I believe one thing that they say?
Do you believe one thing that the New York Times says? I mean, the New York Times said no. You don't believe them either.
Well, they're the ones. Look how they pumped the New York. Look how they got America, soaked us into the Afghan and Iraq war with their lies. No, it's the toilet paper of record. They call themselves the paper of record.
514-790-0991, Star Talk. Text your comment to 514-800. What are you expecting tonight's debate? They'll talk about Libya, the economic power of China. What do you think will be the big issue tonight?
Oh, probably Libya. And And of course Obama. I got to tell you, I'm watching the last debate, and I love Obama goes into all these different roles. And as everyone knows that knows me, I'm a political atheist. I don't believe in this little stuff. And he goes into first, he's going to remind us at least 2 times that he got Osama bin Laden, and he goes into his commander-in-chief role. So they're both going to talk tough. They're both going to talk more militaristic, and none of them are going to talk. Either of them are going to talk about how we really have to cut back the military, stop our intervention in wars that are going on around the world, and start saving this country as it's going down the tubes. None of that is. You know what I just read? That America's making this is unbelievable. America's making 2 new nuclear submarines a year. I mean, my God. I mean, our Navy, there's nothing in the world that comes even close to it. Oh, China got an aircraft carrier. Yeah, China bought an old Ukrainian ship and retrofitted with this tiny aircraft carrier that they don't even have planes to land on. So they're both going to talk about who's going to be tougher. And here's what really gets me. These are these little boys that talk tough that never fought a day in his life, particularly Romney, who wants to expand it even more, talking more about more intervention. And you know where Romney's around my age. During the Vietnam War, Romney spent 2 years with a deferment, I love this one, as a missionary in France. Oh, yeah, Mormon missionary in cigarette-smoking, wine-drinking, caffeine-addicted, Brigitte Bardot-loving France. No wonder why they punched him out when he was over there.
Gerald, here's a text question for you. How do we change the financial system that's destroying our society?
This is so huge. Do you remember the cover of the Summer TrendsJournal? We had a picture of Jesus Christ chasing the money changers out of the temple. But the money changers were Dexia, Bank of Scotland, Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan Chase, etc. And when you really think about that, this has been going on since the Testament. I mean, this has been going on forever. It's a banking takeover. I don't know what to do about it. What's going on in Europe right now, you're hearing it between Hollande and Merkel. They're fighting to see how quickly they could put the banks in charge of taking over all of the sovereign banks throughout Europe, a central bank in Brussels. This is as old as history, and it's as evil as history. And I'm not saying this in a religious sense, but when you think about it, Tommy, the only time that the Prince of Peace, Jesus Christ, becomes violent is when he picks up a whip to chase the money changers out of the temple because of the destruction it's doing to the human race. And it's going on now bigger than it ever was before. If the banks aren't stopped, it's just going to be more destruction.
But, I mean, in terms of the banks, the power of the banks is not going to change no matter whether it's Romney or Obama, right?
Oh, no, because they won't put back in the Glass-Steagall Act that restricted the power of the banks that was taken away by Bill Clinton when he was president under the rule that began under Robert Rubin, who was the former CEO of Goldman Sachs gang. You got one of your guys up there running the show in finance as well.
Which president do you see, if you look back in your history, as having stood up to the banks in any meaningful way?
Oh, it's definitely FDR, and you listen to his speeches and think about it. During the 30s, when the crash came, the banks were demonized. Here they've been bailed out. I mean, this is unprecedented. We're not talking about what's going on in Europe, and I love the white shoe boy language. A European stability mechanism. Oh yeah, we're going to steal every penny we can from the people, sell all our expensive public assets, raise taxes across the board, cut pensions and benefits, and then we're going to take the money. And this is where I'm not making this up. We're going to take the money and deposit it directly into the accounts of the banks, because they made bad bets and they can't lose, so we have to bail them out. Oh, and because they're members of the club, we have to pay them interest on the money that they lost in the meantime.
You can catch the final presidential debate. Listen in for uninterrupted coverage tonight right here on CJAD starting at 9 o'clock. After 10:30, CJAD will provide, of course, analysis of the debate. Our discussion of the debate right now with Trends analyst Gerald Celente. Check out the website, TrendsJournal.com. Some interesting texts coming in. This one saying Obama's had a shot at it for 4 years. Why not try Mitt Romney? What do you say to that?
Yeah, Gambinos have had a shot at it for 4 years. Why not the Bananos? Well, listen to Romney's, but why? I just mentioned he's out militaristing Obama. He wants to increase the defense budget. He's talking more tougher about Iran. You know, something very disturbing is going on in the States. I don't know if people know about this, and everyone refuses to talk about it. They're running ads in Florida, which is a big swing state, and Romney has to win Florida and Ohio to get the electoral votes. And is Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, doing a commercial, about how dangerous Iran is. This is foreign intervention in America's campaigns, and nobody's talking about it. Oh, why not Romney? What has Romney done? I'm a businessman. He's not a businessman. Let's get this straight. He's a vulture capitalist. All he's done by creating wonderful companies like Staples, he's put all the stationery stores out, a business that used to be around here. What has he done with Staples? He's created jobs. Oh, wonderful. You can have a job at Staples. You can't own your own store anymore. No, there's no competition. So all Romney is more of the same. Matter of fact, even Michael Bloomberg is bashing both campaigns, saying how neither of them have any real policies for economic recovery. Eisenhower said it best. Any man that seeks the presidency is either crazy or an egomaniac. And Mittens hasn't stopped running since he became governor of Massachusetts.
This other text for you says, does your guest think Obama is unintelligent, in over his head, or a cog in a machine that no one can really change?
He's an empty suit. He's an empty suit. He's backtracked on virtually everything he promised. And that's why we thought he would win, because he's more invisible in what he does with his backtracks, where Romney is so transparent with his flubs. So no, Obama, whether it's continuing the Patriot Act, continuing Bush's tax cuts for the rich, which he's done. And by the way, they call people making $250,000 a year in the United States rich. It's not rich. You're living in New York City. You got two kids making $250,000. You're okay, but it's not rich. He's backtracked. Oh, how about the lovely war he started in Libya? 33,000 more troops to Afghanistan. No, it's who he is.
Someone said this. I don't think you're going to agree with this. Gerald said, come on, Obama was never a businessman. Well, that's what Romney is able to do. He can balance the budget as Mike Bloomberg did in New York City.
Again, he's not a businessman. He's a vulture capitalist. The guy's born on third base, thought he hit a home run. His old man paved the way for him. He's into the group, and he does deals. End of story.
Okay, Gerald Celente, oil, corn, and other commodities, are they artificially inflated due to Wall Street investor speculation?
I don't believe that corn and food is. I think food is going to be a very big commodity in the future. Prices going up dramatically. There's drought conditions throughout the world. I just got back from Vancouver a week ago, and they told me it hadn't rained there in 82 days. And you look at the United States, 64% of it is in drought condition. 80% of the areas where they feed livestock is in drought condition. I think you're going to see food prices continue to rise as climate changes, regardless of whether it's man-made, Mother Nature, or whatever. It is what it is, and production is way down.
Two interesting texts for you. This one says, America, from Paul. He says, Americans don't know a good thing when they have it. Obama succeeded in health care, but we know he doesn't run the show. Romney has a cheap set of teeth. I'll take Obama. That's coming from Paul. And someone else wants to know, Tommy, ask Gerald if he thinks the mainstream media has been protecting Obama. Is this a problem going forward? Think they'll support Romney if he wins?
Well, the second one, the prostitutes will support who's ever in power. They don't. They just follow along. They want a seat, close to the show, so they'll support who's ever there. And how does this guy know what Obama can do or can't do? What does he live inside his brain? By their deeds you shall know them. Big deal, Obamacare. We have to buy our insurance from private insurance companies. So no, it's more of the same. And I want to. This is very important, actually. Is tonight's debate is about foreign policy. And as we see it, Tommy, the first great war of the 21st century has begun. You mentioned about Spain, Portugal, Greece. Millions of people are taking to the streets in Spain. 80,000 the other day in Greece, in Portugal. The poverty going through those areas is heartbreaking. 25% unemployment officially in those countries. I think it's up about 15%, they say, in Portugal. 50% of the youth unemployment. These countries are going down terribly. Then you look around what's going on. The war in Syria is now spreading over to Turkey and Lebanon. You have the total destabilization in Libya that's now spread into Mali and other areas of North Africa. Wonderful, wonderful job you guys did over there in NATO and Cameron, Sarkozy, and Obama and the rest in destabilizing Libya. Then you have Yemen and Bahrain. They're going. It's not making the news what's going on over there. It's a civil war. We're looking at a world going to war. It's heating up between China and Japan over these islands as the United States is increasing its military presence around Asia and the Pacific as a buffer against China. So whoever gets in there is going to have real geopolitical issues facing them, and whatever they've said and whatever they have done only points to more failure if these two people are in power, considering the actions that they've taken and the new ones that they're proposing. And one final thing is Afghanistan. As Obama says and Biden says they're withdrawing all the troops, the word coming out is that they're going to keep about 25,000 American troops, 35,000 NATO troops there as trainers for the Afghan army.
Right, okay. I take it you don't think that's a very good idea. When you heard the two candidates saying they're both in favor of free trade, what were you thinking?
What's free trade? Free trade is doing deals with slave labor countries, getting your product made over there, bringing it back and marking it up, and putting everybody else out of work. Free trade's not free trade. This is just exploitation. And if people again ask me, when was it better? How could you change it? Why do you think they had laws in place like the Robinson-Patman Act, the Sherman Antitrust Act, the Clayton Antitrust Act?
Okay, here's a great question for you, a great text that just arrived. What would impress you tonight from either one of them? What would you like to hear?
Oh, I would like them to hear that, these guys are always bragging about how they're talking about America's founding fathers. Yeah, why don't you do what our founding fathers said and mind your own damn business and get the hell out of other people's countries and bring the troops home back to the United States?
All right, that's pretty clear. Gerald Celente, always a pleasure.
Listen to the Tommy Schnurmacher Show live weekdays 9 to noon on CJAD 800 and CJAD.com.